Welcome to the Big E Outdoor Radio Show with your hosts, Big E and Brandon of Big E TV. Found nationally on your favorite outdoor television channels. Big E Outdoor Radio challenges all the hot topics in the outdoors, from racing to hunting and even grilling in the backyard. Our mission is to educate on the facts of the impact of the outdoors on all our lives and encourage good stewardship and good fellowship among our ranks. Follow Big E Outdoors on Facebook at Big E Outdoors and Big E Outdoor Radio. Send us feedback and get in on conversations with us. Fasten your seatbelts, because this ain't your daddy's morning show. We'll be right back with Big E and Brandon in the morning on Big E Outdoor Radio. Big E Outdoors, located at Cedar Creek, is reopening its doors soon after its new remodeling. Home to the area's first and only big game hunting museum, with educational exhibits displaying animals from around the world and facts around the hunters' contributions to their survival. Pick up some unique souvenirs and gifts from the museum and from the Big E TV shows. Meet the pro staff from Big E TV and Big E Outdoor Radio. A great place to stop in with the whole family. And while you're there, book your next hunting trip with the Big E Outdoors professional hunters. With over 21 personal hunting destinations worldwide, you'll be sure to find a quality getaway with the Big E Outdoors destinations. Big E Outdoors is also home to Adrenaline Hydrographic. Check us out online at BigEOutfitters.com and register to win a free hunt. Big E Outdoors at Cedar Creek. Hey, good morning and welcome to Big E Outdoor Radio. We're here in our home studio here at the Big E Museum. Right in our own Big E studio here, Brandon, this morning.
Yeah, right here at the Cedar Creek Mall, folks.
That's right. If you want to check out what's going on and see the Big E show being taped live, all you got to do is head on down to Cedar Creek Mall, and you can check us out usually on Wednesdays and Thursday afternoons. You can come on down to right in front of the store here at the Cedar Creek Mall, in front of the Big E Outdoor store, and you can pop in on us and see us. Look in the window, and you might catch some of our guests, our studio guests that we might have in here. Otherwise, Brandon and I are here, and you can make faces at us through the window or whatever.
And in case you missed it, or maybe if Big E forgot to mention it, we're right down here at the Cedar Creek Mall. Might throw that in there.
What, I say that a few times?
Yeah, just a few. Yeah, that's all right.
Oh well, you know how it is.
You can't forget now. Trust me.
You can't forget. Hey, but it's all new. It's all new. They're remodeling this place. What's good is we got a view right in front, and we can sit here and watch all the construction equipment driving around. And
oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah. They're really fixing this place up. Getting rid of that ugly red and green roof and
all that ugly
stuff.
They're putting some nice stonework out here on the pillars, and they're really doctoring it up. And I'll tell you what. I certainly hope this place opens up to be a success, because they are putting some money into this building.
That's right. We got stonework and the stucco going on the fronts, and it's going to look up to date now.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know how many of these people get a chance to read the Wisconsin Outdoor News.
Yeah.
But I noticed this week, and I'm sure you got a chance to take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
All the CWD talk in there this week.
Yeah, there's quite a bit actually. Man. There's a lot of people that are talking about CWD, and there's a lot of people that overreact, and one of them is their so-called expert that they're interviewing in there, the ex-game warden.
Yeah. Well, they all claim to be an expert at something. But,
it's usually.
Yeah.
If folks that are following the outdoor news, they'll probably know what we're talking about. But those of you that aren't, there has been another place that came down with CWD in Wisconsin. Which, again, we have our opinions on that. CWD's been around for a long time. It's probably a disease that had been in deer since deer were created.
Yeah,
it's a prion. It's a disease. It's kind of like how humans get cancer or any other disease. Deer get CWD, and it's Mother Nature's way of thinning them out. There gets to be too many. So they're going to find it. You test enough deer, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
So there's a big game farm over by Fairchild, Wisconsin, that got found with CWD. Had one deer in there that found it, and they decided to not depopulate the farm, because if they depopulate it, they have to buy the animals from. They have to pay them for them.
And they did not have the funding for that.
That's
apparently, what I read in the article.
Right. They don't have the money. There's no money in the federal fund to pay for these deer, so they didn't depopulate it. Well, in the meantime, there's been an escape.
Mm-hmm. There's actually been 2 escapes that they talk about.
One was before they found it, and one after. And so this first one, like 20 some deer got out. The last one, 10.
Mm-hmm.
And out of it, they've caught most of them, and there's like 5 out there still running.
Yeah, apparently there's still 2 out from the previous outbreak, and there's 3 bucks that are out from the from the latest outbreak.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
So, everybody's all worried, and they're like, oh, they're going to blame it if these animals. They're worried about they're going to pass CWD onto the wild game, the wild animals.
Yeah.
My opinion on that is if the wild animals are going to get it, the wild animals already have it.
Yeah.
But the problem is now, if they actually do find CWD in the wild, you know what they're going to do? They're going to blame it on this.
Oh, they're going to blame it on this right away.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what you get is now all of a sudden their so-called expert, this ex-DNR official, he says, the deer farms and these captive deer farm areas, those are the breeding grounds for the CWD. Need we remind this guy that CWD started in Wisconsin in the wild deer herd down by Madison? And the first places that they found CWD was in the wild in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's not found, it didn't start on game farms. It didn't start with pen deer. It's just that those deer, there's more of them in one place for you to test, so it's easier for you to find it.
Yeah.
The CWD exists in deer in general. There's been testing done.
Yep.
Great testing in Canada, and they found that some deer are immune to it. Some deer will not get it, and some deer are susceptible to it. And they even have come so far as to figure out that there's possible ways to breed your herds out of it. It's an expensive deal, but our Department of Ag is not publicizing that, and they're not recognizing that because there's no money in that. See, there's a whole lot more money in the whole rush around everything and all the laws and all the craziness that can be created by finding CWD. So why would they want to figure out ways around it? I mean, there's a lot of stuff. It's even been said that there's ways to treat herds that have it, and they've tried it and it's worked, where they put out blocks, mineral block type things, and there's a medication they can put in there that they can treat the animals that are not immune to it, and make them so that they can't get CWD, and their offspring as well.
I didn't know that.
They can actually treat them for it, but so they could actually be putting these blocks out in the woods and letting the wild deer eat off of this. But again, our government won't recognize it and won't do it. It's very costly, but the Canadian government has figured it out. They've been battling it too, up there, so they're all worried about it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of testing around CWD.
The other thing I noticed in there too, this so-called expert, he was talking about, he's all worried about all the new releases into the elk herd of Wisconsin. Over there, they were released like 31 or 37 miles away, approximately from this farm in Fairchild.
Mm-hmm. Where did they come from?
And, they came from Kentucky, I believe, is where that herd came from. Mm-hmm. But regardless, elk have had it, in Colorado and everything. There's been animals with it. And now he's worried about all that, and they had to throw in there, they mentioned the 2 deaths already in that herd that they had introduced.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have deaths and stuff when you move them. I mean, 2 out of the 20-something animals that they moved into there, that's actually a pretty good ratio. you're going to lose animals when you move them. When you tranquilize them or live load them, regardless of how you do it, you're going to have loss. And animals get stressed out.
Especially that they don't handle them every day, so they don't know what they're doing with them. So.
But the big thing is, he's all worried about the spread of the CWD up to those elk and everything. Well, what about all the animals in between? If he's really worried about it, what about all the animals in between that farm and the 30-something miles away? Because since they've introduced this elk herd, they haven't moved but 2 miles from the drop point when they released them.
Yeah.
They've all been in the same vicinity. They haven't moved.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek going on when it comes to the DNR and their so-called experts. They've got...
You just wonder if sometimes they talk to hear themselves talk.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, they complain on one hand that the reason that they increased all the doe tags and all the shooting and harvesting of the deer was because they were worried about car kills and car wrecks. But now they release elk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then they want to get the elk herd going, but they release wolves. Yeah. And then they stop you from hunting the wolves. So the wolves are going to...
Yeah, wait till next year when they do their census on what the wolf population is.
Yeah, and then when they start trying to figure out what's happening to the elk.
Yeah.
As the wolves are eating them.
Yep.
These people absolutely make no sense at all. Mm-hmm. Now, the elk herd's doing great down in Kentucky, but there aren't any wolves in Kentucky. Yeah. They got the little red wolf thing running around down there, but that's nothing more than an oversized coyote.
Pretty much, yeah.
So,
speaking of wolves, you hear about this guy that fended off 3 wolves with his .380 pistol down in the Colburn Swamp down there near Friendship, near Adams County.
Down in Adams County, yeah, you were telling me.
We actually used to own land right there where that happened.
Yeah. But, the DNR will probably come through and say that didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
That it was either dogs or coyotes or that he made the whole thing up, if he has no marks on him.
Yeah.
Now, he actually shot one of these wolves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that they're not charging him for that.
Yeah, the way the DNR works, they'll charge him for that, but then at the same time they'll deny it altogether. So
right,
yeah,
because that's a federally protected endangered animal. So if he actually did shoot one, that'd be just like our DNR that they would charge him.
Well, you can protect it all you want, but if a wolf comes after a hunter in the woods, guarantee you the wolf's going to get shot or at least shot at.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of strange things that go on with our Department of Natural Resources. They talk one thing and they do another. It seems like you never know what one hand is doing with them.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll come back after a quick break and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the great things that we found out in the Wisconsin Outdoor News. We'll be right back at some more Big E Outdoor Radio. Hey, welcome back. To some more Big E Outdoor Radio. And Brandon, before the break here, we were just talking about CWD and game farms and all that kind of stuff. And what's really funny is that North Carolina just passed a law allowing deer farming in the state.
Yeah.
They'd never used to allow that. And so now in North Carolina, they can raise deer. So the next thing that will be passed, and more than likely, is going to be high fence hunting. That'll be the next thing.
Yeah.
So that's a great step in the right direction for that state. I mean, there's there's a lot of people out there that don't particularly agree with hunting on high fence operations, and that's fine. Again, like we've said, we are supporters of both sides of the fence and supporting hunters no matter what way they choose to hunt. The high fence operations provide opportunities for some people that may not otherwise get the chance to hunt. Some people that might not be able to hunt any longer. And they do provide quite a bit of financial income to the surrounding communities. I mean, there's a lot of money, taxidermy, butchers, overall, there's a lot of money that goes around high fence operations. Not to mention the fact that, if you want a good trophy anymore, there's getting to be less and less available in the wild.
Yeah. what better way to boost your local economy, though, than to allow high fence hunting? As long as it's done legally and it's done in a safe manner,
Right.
why not support it?
That's right. I mean, if you want to make sure that folks are not coming in there and trying to harvest an animal from a high fence operation and claim records like our little friend in North Carolina did,
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that that it's done in an ethical way, and that the place is large and the animals are treated fairly and they're taken care of in a humane way. So, if all that can be done, then high fence hunting is a great thing. And like I said, it's a great place for kids to get their first hunt. It's a great place for people to be able to take a wife or to take an elderly person or somebody that's disabled, people that just normally wouldn't get a chance to hunt.
Yeah. That's thinking about this our little North Carolina buddy, Nick. Was that his name? Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, Nick Build-A-Buck down there.
Yeah, Nick Build-A-Buck. I mean, he is. Can you imagine all the criticism he's opened himself up to? I mean, I'm sure he's taken flack on several things. Saturday Night Live ought to pick up a skit on this.
I can't believe that he got by with such a small fine. Did you see what the fine was?
Oh, it's petty.
$250 to up to $600 and some dollars. I mean,
yeah.
His fine should have been in the thousands, and he should have been worried. He should have been looking at losing his hunting privileges in all 50 states. I just cannot believe how much of a slap on the hand he's going to get off with. And then they find out that the bucks that he shot the year before that he was bragging about, those were illegal too. He poached them. Yeah. He poached everything. It's not just the fact that he screwed the horns on this deer and did that unethically. He actually poached the deer on top of it. He shot the deer at night.
Mm-hmm.
So he went out, illegally shot this deer. He couldn't even shoot this three-pointer with a bow legally and then screw the horns on it. He had to go poach it.
Who poaches a three-pointer?
So he's out there bragging about, oh yeah, I'll stalk them down and I use all this fancy mineral product and I can harvest this big bucks and all that. He couldn't even sit in a stand and shoot his three-pointer with a bow. He's such a crappy hunter, he has to go out and poach a deer in order to screw the horns on it with a .22 at night. And then he sits there with his bow. He didn't even shoot the deer with a bow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. All the posts that this kid made on Facebook and social media and all
slamming all the legitimate record holders.
Yeah, and his friends, then his friends coming on there trying to back him up and to justify what he had done and say, oh yeah, it's real, it's legit, he did it, Every one of them guys are a bunch of fools.
He did it all right.
He did it
illegally.
Yeah. This kid couldn't hunt his way out of
a wet paper
bag. I mean, the kid's a fool. He's a fool.
Yeah.
And then come to find out that even the year before, all of his big bucks that he'd been saying he was getting, he was illegally shooting them. The kid probably doesn't even know how to shoot the dang bow that he had.
Yeah.
That kid deserves to lose all of his hunting privileges.
And I hate to say it like this, but
he better hope I don't ever run into him because I got a lot of words for him. I'm telling you.
Everything usually stems back to the way that you're raised.
Yeah.
And if this is why, folks, hunting and promoting the safe and ethical side of all different types and all different aspects of hunting is so important to us. Why we need to preserve the tradition of hunting and not run it down and run it into the ground, especially amongst our inner group of hunters, because as a whole, as the amongst the population of Earth, hunters, our numbers are very small.
Right.
So we need to band together, and this is a good example of why we need to band together. Folks that want to hunt and they want to, learn how to do this, they need to learn how to do it right. That way, they don't make the rest of us look bad. If this kid down there in the Carolinas was raised properly and brought up hunting the correct way, doing things legally, and taught that it was so wrong to do what he did, poaching and and shooting animals at night or however he did it, lying about records and running other legitimate record holders into the ground because his buck was so much bigger. If he had been brought up ethically and taught to do things ethically, this would have never happened. And this wouldn't be happening right now to feed all of the antis and all the people that want to get rid of all of our traditions of hunting, whether it might be hunting over bait or hunting with dogs, hunting inside of fences, all this stuff. The first thing that popped up over this whole topic was, oh, I bet that was a preserve buck, and people right away wanted to slam that.
Yeah, they wanted to slam the preserves, and it's not the preserves' fault.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make preserves a bad thing. It makes this kid wrong. This kid is the one that did it. You know?
And if somebody had taken the time to show him the right way to do things, this probably would have never crossed his mind. He'd have thought, well, there's no way in the world I could possibly do something like that. But he probably had an interest in hunting, but he didn't have somebody there to guide him in the right direction.
Well, he just went
out there and did it his way.
Either that or his dad or whoever he hunted with is just as big of a poacher.
That could be too, yeah. Family tradition, which is
and his buddies who are backing him up, they're probably a bunch of little shining poachers too. I mean, I got this whole thing right there. I mean, that whole group. I'm telling you, I don't know what to say about those people down in that whole group that he runs with. In that particular area in North Carolina, there's some really good hunters, and they do have some good bucks. There's some great sportsmen in that area, and they take pride in growing their good bucks and quality deer management and things like that. Then they got a little punk like this that's running around with a 22 at night whacking deer. Well, they should strap his hind end to a tree and rub him down with honey and then put some ants on him or something.
That goes to show you, though, it doesn't matter where you go. There's always somebody that is doing that. There's always somebody trying to ruin it for the guys that are doing it the right way. In fact, there was an article that we had just talked about not too long ago where these kids were out poaching deer.
Yeah.
And they admitted to shooting like 40-some animals.
Yeah, that's right. That's also in the Wisconsin Outdoor News as well.
Over in Buffalo County area.
Yep, in the Buffalo County area, and we'll have to save that, and we'll get into that more in the next segment. But poaching is a problem no matter where you are, and I mean it's something that we all need to be on the lookout for because those people are not hunters, and if you're out there poaching, and if you are a hunter and you're out there and you think that going out and adding to it and doing some poaching like that, think about what you're doing. If you're risking the whole reputation of all hunters.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just risking your privileges to be able to go out and hunt and do all this stuff yourself. You're risking it for everybody.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm not saying that in our lives that we've always been perfect, but I'm saying that we all need to start looking at where the future of hunting is headed, and that's what we need to start looking at. We gotta start teaching our youth the proper way, just like we want to teach them the gun safety. We need to teach them ethics.
Yeah. Yep.
And we need to teach them proper procedures. You need to teach them that that bag limits matter, hunting laws matter. Whether you agree with them or not, you got to follow them. There's proper ways to disagree with the laws, and that's just the way it goes. So, it all stems right down to the way we teach our future hunters.
Yeah.
And if they don't follow it, they're the ones that are going to suffer.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They're the ones that are going to lose their rights. When we come back after this break, we'll talk a little bit more about the kids that they caught over in Buffalo County, because that's another sad story.
Yeah.
And we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Some more Big E Outdoor Radio. Thanks for listening. This segment of Big E Outdoors is brought to you by Snap Fitness of Wausau. It's time to get in shape, and Snap Fitness is the right place to do it. With 2 locations in Weston and Wausau, you're never far from a Snap Fitness. Open 24/7 for members with clean and well-maintained equipment. Check out their new location across from Fleet Farm on Wausau's north side with all new machines and equipment. Sign up for some classes or training. Pick up the supplements you need and take advantage of the monthly deals and sign-up specials they have going on now. The staff at Snap Fitness is waiting for you to assist you in any way they can. So head on down to Snap Fitness today and get signed up. And we're back with some more Biggie Outdoor Radio. And just before the break, we said we were going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about these poachers that they caught over in Buffalo County. But Brandon, we actually have a caller on the line here, and he says that let's see who he is here. Hey, caller, who we got here? Yeah, this is Nick with Nick's Build-A-Buck down in North Carolina. Last week I heard you guys are poking fun of me, but that wasn't my voice that was on there. I really don't appreciate you making me sound like a fairy. Oh, Nick, well, we're really sorry about that. I guess you're with Nick's Build-A-Buck, you said? Yeah, I got a new business going now. We build trophies of all kinds for people, whatever they want. We're building up a couple of trophy fish for some guys that break their world record. Now we're pumping them full of silicone. Hey! I said silicone, not KY jelly. I know they're going to Kentucky, but silicone. Yeah, we're building world records, and we'll build anything you want, fish, deer, or whatever we want to break a record with. Just give us a call, Nick Build-A-Buck.
Yeah, boy, Nick, yeah, it sounds like you got quite the business going on down there. It's do you do just hunters and fishermen, or what other kind of business do you promote down there?
Well, pretty much everything we do here is a hoax. Even the fact that I'm from North Carolina, as you can tell, I'm really from up by Pennsylvania and up east anyway. And they caught me. I was trying to say I was from North Carolina, but that's a bunch of hooey too. Well, that's pretty interesting, Nick. So you're saying that somebody wants a special built trophy, whether it's a buck or a fish or whatever. I mean, they can shoot a 3-pointer or even a doe, huh? You can fix it up for them. Yeah, that's right. We got all kinds of antlers here. We buy antlers and we'll screw them on their heads, whatever you want. We're really building a ton of jackalopes right now. We're kind of in the jackalope business. And, we were pumping there. We do all kinds of stuff like that. So, you just tell us what you want. We'll make you a world record holder.
Man, I was wondering where all them jackalopes came from. And, well, there we have it. Actually, we can hunt jackalopes up here in Wisconsin, Nick. We can only shoot the does.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty funny. I bet we could make some money off of that deal. Well, Nick, we're really glad that you called in. It's funny that we find out you're actually not even from North Carolina. That's a lie too. So, but we'll let people know that if they want a nice record, and maybe you can call in again sometime there and help us out. So, have you been out poaching lately? Oh yeah, $250 a pop. I can afford to go out and I can poach all the time, and heck, it's cheaper than buying beef.
Yeah, I hear they let you off pretty easy on that. I mean, who wouldn't want to try that for the small fine that you got, huh?
Oh yeah, I shot 3-4 big bucks that they think. I shot a lot more than that. We drive around at night with a spotlight down here, and we whack everybody's big bucks. And we're at 22, and it's pretty fun. We do that at night. Hey, for $250, you can't go wrong. You know what I
mean? Yeah, you're right. Actually, for $250, there's some states you can't even go out and get a license in. Speaking of going and getting a license, did that actually affect you being able to get a license anywhere, Nick?
Well, I can hunt in North Carolina, but hey, who needs a license to poach anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Guess that does make sense. I guess you really, So, did they take your truck or anything, Nick? No, they didn't take my truck because I wasn't using my truck anyway. So, you can always rent a car. I go down to Enterprise or something. I just rent a car and I go out and poach with it. So they can't stop me. I'm Nick Davis. Nick Build-A-Buck. So just give me a call. Look me up online. Well, Nick, we got to go. As we got to go back to our show here. We got some other stuff that we got to talk about. But hey, it was great for you to call in. And hey, we're sorry about the little skit we did last week where we were picking on you. And Yeah, just don't let it happen again, because that phony voice you were using, you made me sound like a fairy. It's not good for my buddies, It's kind of, it's bad enough the way it is for me to try to get a girl right now, because, I got to fake that horn too. All right, hey, we'll see you later. Okay. All right, Nick, well, thanks for calling in, and we'll see you later. Yeah,
that was an interesting call, huh?
That was, how do you like that, huh?
So, folks, Nick Davis called us up and sets it straight. So
yeah, well, there we go. And now we know he's got himself a legitimate business there, faking. Did you hear? Pumping fish full of silicone to make a world record. That's
what actually concerned me though was what was this deal with the KY jelly? That's why would you even have that in the same shop?
Well, it's just hard to say, I guess. Sounded like they were quite busy there, though.
Yeah, interesting business.
Quite a business there.
Yeah,
we'll have to check in with Nick from time to time and see what else they might be building.
Yeah.
So he's got quite the accent going on there,
Yeah, that was you couldn't really tell where that was from.
You couldn't even tell he was not from North Carolina. I don't know where he was from. He's kind of a crossbreed.
It doesn't even sound like Pennsylvania, to be honest.
No, sounded more like he might be from Boston.
Oh no, Boston. He would sound more like this if he was from Boston. He'd be up there to be using words like wicked and awesome, putting them together. You get wicked awesome.
No, that's Maine. Yeah. So well, wherever what interesting. Well, anyway, back to our guys over in Wisconsin that were poaching. These kids, they caught them. Somebody called them in.
Yeah, I forget how it happened. Did we read that in the outdoor news?
Yeah, it was in the outdoor news. Somebody actually called them in because they heard a shot. 3 shots.
They heard 3 shots.
3 shots. Because first of all, there's poacher rule number 1. You never shoot more than once.
Exactly. Yeah.
So right there, they broke rule number 1.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should get Nick Davis in touch with these guys. They can figure out how to do it right.
Yeah. First of all, they were using a high power rifle and they shot more than once.
Yeah.
and all they shot was a doe.
Yeah.
And they got caught with it in the back of their truck. The cops went and they followed them. And anyway, the neighbor followed one of the trucks. And then the cops went to the house and they caught him. And by that time, they had put a tag on it. And it was his dad's tag. So he drug his dad into the mess.
Yeah.
And then they admitted to shooting over 40 deer.
Yeah.
20 apiece.
But apparently only one major, one good-sized buck out of the deal.
Yeah. But so they took that one. So these guys are running around risking everything, poaching does.
Yeah.
Now, this is the difference between Wisconsin and North Carolina. Now, they only fined them for one. They only fined them for the one that they caught him with because they admitted everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That one deer cost them 5 years hunting and fishing privileges, hunting, fishing, trapping. They can't do any of that.
Yeah.
They took their truck. They took 4 guns, 2 bows.
Yeah, they took a whole bunch.
They took all their guns that they had, anything that was associated, 2 bows.
Yep.
They took a whole bunch of other things that were with them, ammunition, a whole bunch of other stuff. The spotlights they took the buck.
Yep.
And it cost them each over $3,500.
Yeah.
So
for the one doe that they
that's for one doe.
Yeah.
These guys got to consider themselves lucky that they only charged them for one animal. That was one animal right there.
Yeah. Then you got somebody down in North Carolina that gets caught 2 years in a row poaching not does but bucks, nice
and
bucks.
And he gets $250 fine.
It's a $250 ticket.
Yeah. Now if these guys maybe they were in cahoots. These guys were shooting the does, taking them down to Nick and getting the horn screwed on them. And
oh yeah.
They could have been.
Yeah, build a Buck Northern chapter.
Yeah, they could have been starting a new. They could have been starting a new franchise up here. I don't know, but.
Oh man.
So, yeah, it's crazy. But actually, these guys were leaving them lay, too. They only kept a few of them. They took them to a lot of the carcasses. They were shooting these things and leaving them lay.
Yeah.
Just doing it for the thrill of the kill.
Yeah, that's what they said. They were doing it for the excitement of it.
And that is a bad deal right there. I'm telling you, when you get somebody that's doing that, again, dangerous to the future of hunting. And I cannot believe that.
That's dangerous for more than just hunting. I mean, when you're going out killing stuff just for the excitement of it.
Yeah. You got to think about
that opens
the future.
a lot of crazy doors.
There's a lot of doors. You got to think about. It kind of makes you wonder. Does his dad have any idea what he was going out doing at night? Or folks, if you're out there and you got kids that are going, you got to pay attention to what's going on. And if you got some kind of strange feeling that your kids are up to no good, they probably are. And you should have some talks with them because, this kind of stuff right here is bad news for us as hunters.
Yeah.
Our future is definitely at stake when people are doing that kind of stuff, and this is the kind of stuff the antis get a hold of, and woof.
Oh, they eat it up. They love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to shut down hunting altogether. Well, all they got to do is, get a few articles like this and start putting them together and slamming them on the social media, which the antis seem to be so good at.
Yeah. And see that's kind of where, these tabloids like the Outdoor News and stuff, when they put stuff like that in there, I know they're trying to inform us, but really what they're doing is they're putting out an article that with all that negativity in there, and that really kind of makes it. It's right there now for everybody to get a hold of, and the antis get a hold of it too. And I'm not so sure that we should just not even put it out there.
Yeah.
The Outdoor News was the one. They were the first ones to find out about that CWD outbreak, and they're the ones that publicized it.
Yeah.
And certain things like that, maybe they shouldn't rush to try to get that stuff in the paper,
Yeah.
So, I guess what we'll do is we'll hang it up for this segment here quick and take a quick break, and we'll come back and maybe touch on some of that stuff a little bit more and see what else we got in the Outdoor News for Wisconsin. And we'll be right back. Hey, we're back. Wrapping up this first hour here at Big E Outdoor Radio, and we are talking about all kinds of fun things here this morning.
Oh man, yeah, we already had a caller.
Yeah, we had the caller, Nick.
Yeah, Nick Davis.
Thanks for calling. Nick's Build-A-Buck. He's got himself quite the lucrative business going on, and Brandon, in the Georgia, or I keep saying Georgia, the Georgia Outdoor News is on my mind. We should probably get a copy of that and read it and see what's going on. Here in the Wisconsin Outdoor News, we got the article that says that there is bull sharks in Lake Michigan. Sounds like a bunch of bull shark to me, but they're saying that there's people that are sighting these sharks near Frankfort, Michigan, and that somehow these sharks, they believe, are coming down through all the Great Lakes, through not necessarily up the Mississippi, but through the Great Lakes, through the St. Lawrence Seaway.
From where?
From the ocean. From Maine, from that direction, coming all the way through Lake Erie and all that. And that these sharks are somehow adapting to live in fresh water.
Well, I guess I wouldn't rule that out completely, because if they hang around by the mouth of the river there and kind of wean themselves into it, maybe they could. I don't know. Evolution happens all the time, so why couldn't that happen? But is it really something that people are seeing, or are they just plumb crazy?
Well, it's hard to say. I guess, first of all, when someone catches one, then I'll know. Then I'll believe it.
Well, yeah.
But, can you imagine? Well, first of all, it kind of spruce things up a little bit along Lake Michigan, it kind of bring a whole new meaning to the polar plunge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I tell you right now, I'm not going to be risking my life even further than I am to jump into the freezing cold water, especially with sharks in there. I don't know about all that. That's interesting.
Here's why they say it's the bull shark, Brennan. They say the bull shark's kidneys can recycle salt, vital to the animal's cells. Normally, the fresh water would dilute the salt in a shark's body, causing its cells to rupture and kill it. But the bull shark somehow can recycle this. And allows them to adapt to the freshwater environment.
Well, that's interesting.
Bull sharks are one of the very few of 375 species of sharks with the physiology altering ability, and they do it better than any other. So
maybe
they can do it. So it's not the great white couldn't do it, none of the other ones can, but the bull shark can. And somewhere else in this article I read that the bull shark, the bad news is bull sharks are quite popular for attacking humans.
Yeah.
They never really have eaten anybody completely, which that's the good news, I guess. But they are very much responsible for arm and leg amputations.
Yeah, can you imagine if something like a great white could do that?
Thank God they can't.
Evolve and end up in the Great Lakes. Great white sharks in the Great Lakes. Woo. Yep.
But this is very interesting. You know, they said none of the shark reports have ever been substantiated, but, you know, that would...
Yeah, but neither has Bigfoot.
Well, there you
Can
go.
we believe in that?
There you go. You know, I mean, this is more believable than Bigfoot even, because we know the bull sharks actually exist and this is possible. I mean, this is something that is like all you have to do is be able to adapt and swim up that river. Bigfoot is something that has never been seen anywhere.
Well, I
So
mean,
what's
that
more
depends.
believable, bull sharks in Lake Michigan or Bigfoot?
I say Bigfoot.
You say Bigfoot more believable?
Yeah. No, not really. I actually do believe that bull sharks, excuse me, bull sharks could possibly have evolved and made it to Lake Michigan.
Or are they both bull shark?
You know, I haven't written the Bigfoot thing off completely yet, neither. You can call me crazy if you want to, but hey.
You know, have you been down to the 400 block around 2:30 at night on a Friday?
Here we go. Oh, man.
I seen some Bigfoots coming out of there, stumbling down the streets. Ooh, there's some Bigfoots. I seen some down at Point too in the square.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. That's why guys wear camo in Wisconsin, so we can hide quickly if we need to. You know?
Well, in the cold months, we need to hide real fast a lot.
Yeah. They seem to come out more in the cold.
It seems like Bigfoot thrives in cold weather. Yeah, yeah.
It would make sense that Wisconsin would be a good place for Bigfoot to live. With all that hair, why would they live in the South? You know, that's why all the guys down south are like, oh, yeah, we seen Bigfoot, we seen Bigfoot. Okay, listen. If you were 10 foot tall, covered with hair, where would you live? In the South or the North? You know? I'd live up north where it was a little cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, look at everything that lives in the South. They've got all the short, fine, you know, hairs. Look at all, I mean, the hogs. I mean, they don't have real thick hair. It's all
So
pretty,
why would Bigfoot be living down there all covered in hair?
Yeah.
Bigfoot don't live down there, guys. He lives up north. Come on, think about it. He lives up here. So we're going to claim him, and you can have
Nick's
the
Build-A-Buck.
You can have Nick's Build-A-Buck and the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
The Chupacabra is bald.
Is it Chupacabra or Chupacabra?
I don't know. How do you say it? Anybody know?
Chupacabra.
Hey, if you ever want to get in on any of our conversations and help us out, you know, you're going to have to do it now through the Big E Outdoor Radio Facebook page.
Yes.
We're going to be checking the Facebook page. We're looking for anybody that wants to chime in, topics, anything you want to talk about. Jump on our Facebook page. Send us some pictures. Show us your rack of your deer. Well, hell, you know what? Show us your rack anyway. It doesn't matter what it is. Just show us your rack. But put it on the Facebook page there, and we'll and that'll give us something to talk about. We could have a big rack contest. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about?
I'm afraid to even talk right
We
now.
could have that. We could have that right here in the mall, right in front of the window here.
You imagine all them hunters standing out there with all their whitetail mounts?
Oh, they're deer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Notice me trying to save your butt again?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, you know, I got to give all of you listeners out there a big hand, I guess, or a big round of applause, because my wife has been getting comments from people that have been listening, asking her about her coyote calls.
And people walk up to her randomly and ask her about how her coyote calling skills are coming. If you recall, a few weeks back, we were talking about her practicing that out in the garage.
Yeah.
And, she's had a few people come up to her and ask her about it. So
and ask her.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, we appreciate the support, and you're making life very easy for me at home when you do that, and really appreciate that. So, in fact, she just left here not too long ago, and had to point that out, that happened, yesterday, like twice?
Yeah.
Or yesterday once and today once, but whatever.
We asked her if she wanted to join in with the radio show, and she said she didn't want to have anything to do with it because she gets picked on enough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyhow, we'll make a hunter out of her yet. Yeah. And actually, we got a good way to do it because we just got a present today in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we got to thank our sponsor from Next Gen.
Yep.
Next Gen Crossbows and Slayer Broadheads out there. Brian Flowers actually is the rep and the distributor for the United States out there. He's out from he's actually from Pennsylvania area out that way. And Brian called us up, and he's sponsoring our television show, and he sent us out the Next Gen Crossbow. Now we just have to figure out how to put it together. And the problem is it comes with directions. And rednecks do not like to read directions.
No.
So we've been sitting here looking at this thing, trying to figure out how to put it together without actually reading the directions. And we think we're going to have to call somebody in to read the directions. Either that or we're going to actually have to break down and look at the directions ourselves.
I don't think we've ever done that.
No.
I don't think we've ever done that. I don't know if I want to start.
No. That would actually break our tradition.
I mean, a long-standing tradition.
Of never reading directions.
Yeah. That would explain why the drawers never slid into my dresser quite right.
Yeah. We just kind of popped them in there. Yeah, there's a lot of things that never work quite right now. The VCR always flashed 12 o'clock.
Yeah, Dad, you sure we're supposed to hang this chandelier on the wall? Yeah. Look great right there, son.
Yeah, that'll work good. Yeah. And on that note, I think we should probably take a quick break, and we'll come right back with a new hour of Biggie Outdoor Radio.